What happened to the astronaut who was lost in space? Do you know about the astronaut who was left stranded in space? Sergei Krikalev was sent into space in the year 1991 and was only supposed to go on for 5 months, but he was stuck for 311 days in space. The only thing that restrained him to return on time was the Soviet Union and financial issues. So do you want to know how Sergei struggled and returned to Earth? Well, welcome back to our channel and stay tuned till the end of the video for all the details. Let's begin. Sergei Krikalev began a 5-month mission on the Soviet Space Station Mir on May 9, 1991. Krikalev was on his mission for 8 months by January 1992, and he didn't know when he would be able to go home. Krikalev was a flight engineer. He went to the Mir space station with Helen Sharman, the first British astronaut, and Anatoly Artsebarsky, who stayed there for 5 months. Sharman was doing tests and stayed on Mir for 8 days. After Sherman went back to Earth, Krikalev and Artsebarsky were finally left alone in the space station. They made good use of their time together. They did a lot of scientific experiments and kept the space station in good shape. On October 2, 1992, as planned, a relief crew headed for the Mir station to take over from Artsebarsky, where he took off. Abakirov was supposed to take Krikalev's place, but he didn't train for long stays in space, so Krikalev already agreed to stay longer. On October 10th, Artsebarsky, Abakirov, and Franz Weibach came back to Earth. Weibach was the first Austrian to go into space. Only Volkov and Krikalev were still on the Mir, but things that happened in the USSR made their stay harder. In August of that year, just 1 month after Krikalev agreed to stay on his mission for longer, Russia got things going. It was a bad thing because it made people doubt the Soviet space program and the Mir space station. This is because a spaceship headed for Mir was launched from a base in Baikonur, Kazakhstan, which is one of the republics fighting for independence. In order to keep Kazakhstan on board, the Soviet government agreed to send a Kazakh to Mir. Abakirov was chosen. On October 2, 1991, he arrived. His time on the space station wasn't very long. He went instead of an experienced astronaut who was supposed to take Krikalev's place. As 1991 went on, these events had a big effect on Sergei, and they only got worse. His mission had already been extended, and there was no set end date for his time on Mir. Krikalev really didn't know what was going on. He kept hearing that there wasn't enough money to bring him back to Earth. Mission Control kept telling him to wait a little longer. Krikalev wasn't making much money as a cosmonaut, which added to the stress of being stuck in space. But then, how did he return? In the end, though, a new team was on its way. Krikalev and Volkov could finally go back to Earth. Both men got back to Earth safely on March 25, 1992. They landed in Kazakhstan. But by then, Krikalev had already gone around the Earth at least 5,000 times. At the time, staying in space for 311 days was a world record. He was ruined when he got back to his country. Germany spent $24 million to send Krikalev's replacement, Klaus Dietrich Flod, back to Earth so Krikalev could come back. But he made it back in the end. When Krikalev came back, he was said to look as pale as flour and as sweaty as a lump of wet dough. Not too bad for someone who's been in space for more than 300 days. Before he retired as a cosmonaut, Krikalev had been in space for a total of 803 days and had been on 6 different missions, but he kept working as a director of the manned spaceflight for the Roscosmos State Corporation in Russia. So, that's going to do it for today's video. We sincerely hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you like it and share this video with all your friends and family and other space fans who are in your inner circle. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you'll see even more incredible videos. And if you would, before you walk out that door, we would appreciate you pressing that bell icon. That way you'll always be notified of our latest uploads and updates on our channel. Hey, we appreciate you spending time with us today, and we'll look forward to doing it again soon. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.